A federal judge is ordering the Trump administration to pay SNAP benefits. The ongoing government shutdown would have caused the program to expire today until that ruling came down. But President Trump says there's some confusion on what his administration can and cannot do with funding the food assistance program. Alexandria Hoff is live on the North Lawn of the White House. Hi, Alex.
Hi, Mike. Yeah, so this ruling came after 25 states that were Democrat-run had sued the Trump administration over its hesitancy to tap into emergency SNAP reserves to continue to fund the program. The Department of Agriculture had said they didn't feel that they could legally use those funds because the program had to be active in order to do so, which, of course, due to the shutdown, it is not. So today, 42 million Americans, that's about how many rely on SNAP food assistance, many of which will not be seeing any funds coming in at the start of this month. Many nonprofits, they've been trying to fill this gap down in Houston at NRG Stadium. There's a food distribution going on today. But this ruling, this judge says it's really up to the Trump administration to fill the gap. And President Trump saying his administration is seeking clarification from the courts. He added this on Truth Social. If we are given the appropriate legal direction by the court, it will be my honor to provide the funding, just like I did with military and law enforcement pay. The Democrats should quit this charade where they hurt people for their own political reasons and immediately reopen the government. So the president maintains all this could be avoided if 5 Senate Democrats approve the same clean funding bill that the House had already passed. White House Economic Council Director Kevin Hassett warns that tapping into these emergency funds rather than resolving the shutdown comes with a major risk.
And so the idea that when they haven't appropriated funds for us and we've got a clear legal mandate to keep some aside in case there's a national emergency, the idea that they're going to take our rainy day fund and spend it, like what happens if 3 weeks from now when all the money's gone and they still haven't appropriated anything, what happens then?
House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries, he's saying today, though, that the Trump administration should not be waiting for legal clarification and that they should release those SNAP funds out of that emergency reserve now. Mike.
Alexandria Hoff, live on the North Lawn. Alex, thanks very much.
Thank you.
For more, I'm now joined by Texas Senator and member of the Senate Budget Committee, John Cornyn. Senator, welcome.
Thanks, Mike.
So now the government shutdown is beginning its second month. President Trump's patience has worn out. He's suggesting the Senate go nuclear, changing the rules from a 60-vote threshold to a simple majority. Majority Leader John Thune's spokesman saying, quote, Leader Thune's position on the importance of the legislative filibuster is unchanged. Senator, how does this shutdown end, and what about the frustration with the Senate rules?
Well, this is a dumpster fire of Chuck Schumer's own making. The House, as you know, passed a continuing resolution on November the 21st. We're almost there. And the simplest way to solve the problem would be for him to free up at least 5 more Democrats to vote to reopen the government. But insofar as the filibuster is concerned, I think there's good reasons to preserve the filibuster. When Democrats are in charge, they can basically grant amnesty to all of the folks who are illegally in the country. They can create 2 states, Puerto Rico and Washington, D.C., each with 2 Democratic senators. In other words, they could transform the country forever. But with this unprecedented obstruction by Chuck Schumer, I think all options should be on the table.
An estimated 42 million people are impacted by the expiration of SNAP benefits. You're somebody trying to address that issue. Do you expect at some point a vote on addressing the SNAP issue?
Mike, this is a problem of Democrats' creation, and now they're blaming President Trump, who had no responsibility for shutting down the government. And they should reopen the government and make this problem simply go away. But, rather than have this duked out in the courts, because there are contradictory court rulings already about how or whether these contingency funds can be accessed, the simplest solution is reopen the government, problem solved.
Some of your colleagues say they've come across what they believe is a Biden administration enemies list from the Arctic frost investigation. I want to play a clip from your colleague, Ron Johnson, and I'll get you to react.
This is just the tip of the iceberg. We need that information. We need whistleblowers to come forward. But this, and I said in the press conference, this was an enemies list. We got 1,700 pages, about 197 subpoenas. These weren't targeted subpoenas. These were, asking for everything but the kitchen sink.
Senator, what's your assessment of what you've seen from this so far?
This is worse than Watergate. This fishing expedition by Jack Smith, who, by the way, was being supervised by Merrick Garland, the Attorney General, and so he had to know about this, but spying on sitting senators and the donors to the Republican Party in order to try to gather evidence against President Trump, this is completely out of the bounds of any legally appropriate procedure, and we're going to investigate it to get to the bottom of it. If this can happen to U.S. senators, what about you? I think this ought to put fear in the hearts of all Americans.
You're also a member of the Senate Judiciary Committee. Do you expect Special Counsel Jack Smith will be brought before your panel to answer tough questions about this investigation?
Yes, he will. But first, the Department of Justice needs to come forward with the documents that have been requested by Senator Grassley and Senator Johnson. They've been stonewalled for a long, long time. Once we get all the information so we know exactly what happened, then it would be appropriate to have Jack Smith come testify.
You are up for re-election next year. A feisty Democrat congresswoman named Jasmine Crockett is, quote, seriously weighing a Senate bid. What is your assessment if you end up running against Congresswoman Crockett?
Well, that would be entirely consistent with the modern Democratic Party, where they're going to elect a new mayor in New York, a so-called Democratic Socialist, Mondani. And I think she'll push the Democratic primary farther to the left. Texas is still a red state. If we have a credible candidate at the top of the ticket, we should be just fine in Texas, but I would enjoy the competition.
Are you enjoying being out on the campaign trail, and what are you hearing from your fellow Texans, sir?
Well, Mike, I've been doing this a while. I've been through a lot of campaigns. I love the competition. I love being able to get out and talk to my constituents. I got a lot of them. There are almost 32 million, 1,600 new people moving a day to our state of Texas. So it takes a little while to campaign, to reacquaint people with your record and what you've done and what you will do if reelected. And I enjoy it.
Senator John Cornyn of the great state of Texas and that beautiful shot in Austin, Texas. It's great to have you, sir. I hope you'll come back.
Hey everyone, I'm Emily Campagno. Catch me and my co-hosts Harris Faulkner and Kaylee McEnany on Outnumbered every weekday at 12 p.m. Eastern, or set your DVR. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page for daily highlights.